couple of long deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale deeply and exhale completely.
Hi there. It's currently 6 p.m. with a current temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Today's low is 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and the high is 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks
All this electronic gadgets. Start with an opening prayer. Inhale and exhale to your heart. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavabahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishabahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Grab your right wrist with your left palm at the back. Inhale, lean a little bit back, and exhale all the way to the ground in the front. To your Ishta Devata or Devi or whoever you believe in. Today, we are going to start a couple of things. We'll introduce maybe a couple of new pranayamas, but not new, but it's part of the repertoire. We probably haven't done it, at least I haven't done it before with you guys. There's some noise coming along, so if somebody, let me try to mute everybody. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully everybody can hear me properly. So we'll as we do, we start with some cleansing pranayamas. We'll continue that, and I'm going to introduce some new concepts today, if time permits, and as we go through this. So preparatory pranayamas, as we know, pranayamas have, like we have discussed in the past, that pranayamas have enormous impact on the physiology and the on the mind and other aspects of human existence. It oxidizes the body. It properly done pranayama increases the nitric oxide release through our sinuses. Because of the oxidation, we have much more energies because of aerobic glycosis, which means glycogen and oxygen interacts to create carbon dioxide and ATP, instead of anaerobic the process where the oxygen is less. It creates more lactic acid and other toxins which create pain, aches and sores in our body. So there are a lot of other impacts of pranayama, and we'll go through that slowly. One of the things, as we do pranayama, we get into some mudras. Let's do chin mudra. So chin mudra is the forefinger and the thumb together. Now, according to Panchabhuta, this is fire and this is air. So doing this, we are controlling our fire and air. So basically, the fluttering of the mind is controlled. We are putting together a system where just by doing this mudra, we start calming down. It could be different for different people, but there is there's this method to this madness called mudras. Now, when we do keep our palms open up, it's called Dhyana Mudra. When we do this, we call it Chin Mudra. Dhyana Mudra, we are basically getting the blessings, and we are asking the powers that are there for their divine intervention into our lives. Physiologically, the lower lobes of the lungs are more activated. I have not seen any scientific study, but observational study and experiential studies indicate that way. The other thing is, when you do this Chin Mudra, you are basically doing a surrender to the infinity. So there's some meaning to it. Some of them are symbolic, some of them have physiological impact. And the biggest thing is you have a discipline when you are doing a certain process. And that's very, very important. So with this, we'll do a pranayama called Anunashika, which is inhale, and we'll do small exhales in bursts. So 1 inhale and 5 exhales for that. So 1 inhale, so let me show you. Inhale, and so hopefully you got that. We'll do 5 rounds of this. Inhale, 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 completely hold and relax. Feel the calmness that's already settling in. It's one of the basic pranayamas, very, very impactful. We'll do Kapalbhati, again, forced exhalation from the lower lobes. We'll do 60 rounds. I lead, you follow. And relax. You are playing with life forces. You're playing with pranaha, the manifestation of this larger entity called pranaha is breath in our limited form. Kapalbhati mostly clears up the lower lobes of the lungs. Now we'll try to clear the upper lobes. Viparita Swasa. So this is again a different kind of pranayama. We'll tilt our head up, spinal cord straight, and fluttering impact. We'll do very quick exhalations and inhalations, very shallow, quick, fast, like 4 times in 1 second almost, if you can. And I'll lead, you follow. We'll probably do between half a minute and 1 minute. So again, You can do Dhyana Mudra on this one. So palm is facing up, head slightly tilted up. And slow down. Feel the impact of this throughout your thoracic cavity, your throat, your head region. Feel the calmness ensuing. Now, we have done almost the cleansing part of our pranayamas. We'll now also put something a little bit more in the cleansing. We'll do a bhastrika at this point. Now, bhastrika can be also be done at a slower pace, and then we do later on in the stage. In the initial stages, we do faster, and that kind of cleans up the stuff here, okay? And it has a lot of psychological impact. There's a reason why we come down, the oxygenation is high, and there are some neuro impacts through the thalamus into the brain, in secretion of certain hormones between the thalamus and the pituitary. So there's stuff happening here. So we'll do bhastrika, medium pace. So we'll do inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, 10 rounds. Okay, medium paced. I'll lead, you follow. So hands up, down, up, down. Last one. And relax. Observe your sensations. Observe your breath. Slightly observe your spinal cord. Make it straight so that the skeletal muscles, front and back, are stretched out, which will enable us to do much better in our pranayamas that's going to follow. Just enjoy the calmness that's ensuing. In my next class, I'll do a Trataka. So please come with a little candle or maybe just a light or maybe even an object. We'll do Trataka initially and then do our Dhyanam after that. So I think it's very important to do. We're doing a lot of cleansing, but we need to do cleansing at different levels and different stages. Anulom Vilom. Do a simple Nadi, called Nadi Sodhana. There are, probably 20 different ways of doing this. Nasika Mudra. I'm going to open my glasses. So first is exhale. Any pranayama, it's good to have this reset button called exhale. And then we do whatever we have to do. In this case, we're doing inhale and exhale. And then inhale and exhale. You already know the routine, so do at your own pace. 5 rounds. I'll do mine. All right. Left. Left. Right. Left. And right. Right. And left. Left. Right. And relax. As we are doing these, our tone is getting from sympathetic to parasympathetic. This parasympathetic stimulation is working as we're coming down. Your breath is slower. Our mouth is less dry. We feel a little happier. That's the whole purpose of pranayama. In fact, the whole purpose of everything we do in yoga is to go from crazy sympathetic tone to a parasympathetic tone. Vagus nerve is invoked. Good hormones are secreted. Again, the thalamus, pituitary, and several other glandular secretions happen. Serotonin, dopamine, GABA, all kinds of hormones are secreted. Body's pH value probably shifts a bit. And we are in a much better physiological state. And associated with that physiological state is our mental state. Breath works like the link between the mind and the body. We'll do yogic breathing. So, Adi Mudra, also known as Balamushti Mudra, near the navel. And do 5 rounds of deep inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation, tummy, chest, clavicle region, basically expanding the abdominothoracic cavity as much as we can. And then exhale the same way. Inhale. And exhale. Eyes closed. Mind on the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And the last one, exhale. Coming down step by step, shifting our focus from an active to an active passive, which means that we're in a mental state of calmness that will give us more efficiency in whatever work we are doing externally. Internally too, thought is a work. Just feel the calmness. It's as important as doing the pranayamas. You do something, you have an intention, you do, then after that you observe what happened. Observation is a key part of this yogic process. Hopefully you are in a comfortable position, seated in the Tripati, in the triad of the two knees and the hip, the spinal cord straight. Symbolically, it's the Shiva's trident in our existence of the seer, seen, and the process of observation. And as we rise, there's a whole bunch of technology of the Kundalinis, from Muladhar to all the way to Sahasrar. There's a technology to rise, awaken. We'll do Bhramari. Again, the bumblebee noise. Tongue touches upper tongue, upper palate, mouth. Again, the physiology of this is invoking the vagal nerve through the 10th cranial over here. Impactful. Vagus nerve is 80% afferent, going in. There's huge impact on all the cranial stuff we have here. We have the different nervous systems, nerve endings that's going in, eventually impacting different parts of the brain as well as the pituitary. And pituitary secretes a whole bunch of hormones and triggers other things. Some are direct, some are indirect. This is the science behind this. People are just discovering this process, which we knew for thousands of years. Science is catching up. Sometimes fashionably so, but we need to have that experience. There's an experimental science, there's an experiential science. There's objective verifiability, there's subjective verifiability. Scientific knowledge, traditional knowledge. We need to meet both. East meets West. That's what Swami Vivekananda was all about. I don't remember the quote exactly, but Swamiji talks about that we all are potentially divine. We are divine creatures. And our goal of life is to find the divineness. That I am he, or she, or it. And you can do through the path of karma, the path of knowledge, or the path of psychic control, Raj Yoga, which is kind of what we yoga practitioners try to do. We try to control our body, the muscles, the ligaments, the breath, use the breath to control the breath and use the breath to even control some of the involuntary aspects. And have mastery over that. And then control our thoughts. And we'll go into this control of thoughts. It's a misnomer, but at the end of it, it's some kind of thought management we're talking about. And then if we are lucky, we go beyond. An existence of intelligence, which is much bigger than intellect. Intellect is classification, analysis. The broader intelligence is inclusive, expansive. Very difficult to go to that state. But that's where our goal is, as Swamiji says. We are all potentially divine. And therefore we will rise from these ashes. Thousands of years civilization has faced this horrendous troubles. But we came out of it. The indomitable human spirit just can't be suppressed. Let's get charged with that. With that, we'll do another 2 rounds of Brahmari and then go into a technique called Ujjayi breath. And I'll explain a little bit on that. So, Ujjayi breath will be just 2 rounds because Ujjayi is done well after Brahmari. That's why I'm doing it to Brahmari again. So, inhale, up, some ma sound. Inhale, touches. Inhale. And relax. Ujjayi breath. So I'm sure a lot of you have done this. The constriction of this larynx over here, and breathe in through that constriction. So what happens is the nerves, the superior and inferior laryngeal nerves, which are part of the vagus nerve, trigger signals through the thalamus out there, and out comes the efferent signals through our pharynx, the pharyngeal nerves, and they start controlling our palate. So basically, the laryngeal nerves, afferent, and then through the vagus, efferent out through the pharynx. It's called pharyngeal nerves, glossopharyngeal, and there's a couple of other, and they impact the tightness of the muscles over here, the glossopharyngeal and hypoglossacal, space over here, which impacts sleep apnea. So one of the tools of sleep apnea, and and the tongue is also pushed out by one of these nerves, and so there's a big science, and I'm not a doctor or a physiologist, so I'm not articulating all the names properly, but that's the whole technique of it. So we use the nervous system, the vagal nerves go there, come back, and control, and the constriction in the air does the massaging impact. It enhances the impact on the whole process. So constriction, we'll do inhale and do exhale with the left, normal exhalation. There are various forms of so again, we'll do a constriction first. Inhale. And exhale. We'll do 5 rounds of this. Inhale. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Last one. Inhale. Slowly come down. Spinal cord straight. You are in a triangle. If you're sitting in a chair, that's fine. Sit straight. Eyes closed. Just simply close your eyes. Focus on this area. Here, here, here. 3. Softly breathe in and breathe out. We'll do a process based on one of the advanced techniques in the Buddhist repertoire called Vipassana. It's apparently one of the techniques that Buddha invented at the later stages of his life. First is just focus on the breath, anapana. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Continue that for some time. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. Emotions will come, emotions will go. Like bubbles. They come, they burst, they go. Not sure even if they exist. After all, this whole existence could be an illusion, so grand that it feels very real. Let your thoughts come and go as you observe your breath. In this triad, triangles are important in our practices. In fact, in everything we do, triangle exists. Very importantly so. Inhale and exhale. Now start feeling the sensation. Just for a while, focus on the sensations. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhalation. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let the thoughts pass like a wind, a breeze. Let your emotional bubbles come and burst. All that is true is you and your feeling of that sensation. That's the only truth. At this time, at this moment, your sensation is the only truth. This is what it was supposed to be. You are not the body. We are not the mind. We are not even the breath. Just a blimp of an experience in the vast tapestry of existence. Rise, rise, folks. Rise. Now we'll expand this to all the sensations that are cropping up in your body. Maybe you have a problem with your back, or maybe your leg is slipping, your feet are tight. Maybe you have a pain in your heart suddenly coming out. Maybe your mind is a little sad. Be an observant and pick whatever you can. They're like your toys, bubbling up and vanishing, bubbling up and vanishing, bubbling up and vanishing. Nothing else matters maybe you have a fear somewhere. What will happen tomorrow? Maybe you have an anger somewhere lurching, waiting to jump on you. Let them all. Let them all be. Just feel the sensation. These are our karmic bubbles. Millions of lives. The genetic memory and the karmic memory continues and expresses themselves in these sensations. Bottom line, the E equal to MC squared of spirituality. All the actions in your life, past lives, any interaction, the whole world of importance boils down to this karmic bubbles. Sensation. Observe it. A good sensation, you love to grab it. A bad sensation, you will try to push it away. But today, let's rise above all of these. The good, the bad, the ugly. The swatik, the rajasic, the tamasic. None of these matter. Equanimity. Be like Buddha. Buddha and Angulimao, the dreaded dacoit. Once you read their interactions, and then how he changed from tamasic to rajasic to swatik and beyond. The pure existence is nirguna, beyond all gunas. Your sensations are your lollipops. It's up to you to eat them, not to eat them, or to keep it just in the showcase. We like to keep them there. No love, no hatred, no addiction, no rejection. As the triad vanishes slowly, the observer, the observant, and the whole process becomes a blur. But almost nothing there. Observe your senses. Just simply observe. If your mind wanders away too much, bring back to Anapana, focus on your breath, and then let it go. We are putting focus just so that we can defocus. A little bit of impurity into gold that we can form something. Millions of years, practitioners, millions of years have passed by. Millions of lives. All that. Maybe some of us were a monk somewhere 5,000 years back, a Vedic monk, uttering mantras on the shore of Ganges. It's not a river, it's an ocean. Maybe somewhere we were swerving through the deserts of Saudi Arabia. Maybe somebody was a monk in the Himalayas. Maybe we were a grihi somewhere, just like we are today, just enjoying life. We were lucky, maybe at that time. They all equal out. The vast game of cosmos, everything equals out. The mass and energy are correlated. There is no escape. The only escape is to transcend and rise. Deal with each situation with equanimity. And the distilled nature of that is our sensations. Fear expresses in sensations. Anger expresses in sensations. Lust expresses in sensations. Greed expresses in sensations. They all crystallize into one thing that is tangible to us, the sensations. Bubbles of sensations in your own system. Just experience it. Coming up, going down. Coming up, going down. Coming up, going down. Just be an observer. Observe this cauldron of karma happening in your own system. Maybe one day the ownness will go away. In your world of 100 trillion synapses and the trillions of stars in the different systems, the Milky Ways and others, will all fuse into one realization. What a great invention! Give away, give up, surrender. Nothing attracts you. You don't hate anybody, anything. Equanimous. All the meanings you attach are useless, figments of imagination. Desires, silly things they are. The mind's infinite trickery, we get caught. The monkey mind. Let it go. Let it play. above the body, above the breath, above the mind, above the intellect. We all transcend and rise from the ashes of our existence to infinite we, one. Nothingness or everything all together. Purnamadam Purnapuraj. From infinity, take infinity. Infinity remains. What a concept in other mantras. This is not mathematics, this is experiential science in its ultimate. Mathematics is 500, but this science of spirituality is probably 1,000,000 years ahead. Bubbles coming up, bubbles vanishing. Just simply sit down and observe your sensations. This is just a glimpse in the actual practices. It goes on for days. You sit in a place and go on observing your sensations. It's not easy. Comes up, mind wanders. You bring it back with anapana and then again start observing. Probably thinking about the news, probably thinking about somebody else. Bring it back onto your breath and then fly. Maybe a memory comes in, a sad memory. Your heart sinks. Push it back. Let the pain, the tightness, just simply observe that. This is your only reality. All these concepts, all this love, hate, all of these things are manufactured. The reality is a sensation. At this moment, you have only one reality, one existence. And let's have an equanimous relationship with that. Maybe good news exalted you. Your heart is pumping. Just focus on the pumping of the heart and the sensations coming out of it. And be equanimous. Let it all go. I think there's a song, Let It Go. Rise, rise from the ashes of body and mind and breath. Rise. We all need to rise above this. Life goes away. Every moment is important. Rise, folks, rise. Bound by our karma, bound by our own limitations. As such, we are limited. And on top of that, we create our own limitations. With all the five senses. Cut it down, Pratahara. Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, talks about how this attachment that creates the desire and eventually destroys human life. It's a sequence of events very close to modern psychoanalysis. I think it's 2.62, 63, 64, something like that. Amritasya putra, rise, rise. We are the sons and daughters of infinity. We can't be conquered. Fire cannot burn us. Sword cannot spear us. Indestructible. Senses. Is there a little pain in your hand? Or some flow of energy? Take a stock. Smooth. Don't love it, don't hate it. Keep a social distancing. See, social distancing is teaching us this pratahara, this equanimity. What are nature's teachings? And we, the Vedic people, we need to understand that more than anybody else. This is time for our leadership. Our leadership. Because we have understood this in and out. It's in our genes. Millions of lives. Distance from your own emotions. Distance the love and hate relationships. Distance your own sensations. Mind wanders away. If you're tired, bring it back with breath. Breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. I don't know about you guys, but I can continue for a long time. Such a non-judgmental state. Right and wrong, left and right, darkness, while bright light. For a few seconds, see where you are. Take a stock. Top of the head, temples, eyes, nasal system, mouth, swish your tongue, ears, chin, throat, the larynx, important stuff. All the nervous systems jumbled up. Take a stock. Chest, palms, forehead, upper arm, lower arm, stomach, thighs and hamstrings, knees, calf muscles, ankles, feet. Is it more smooth now? We created this mess with millions of lifetimes. It'll take some time to get out of this. But we do have a path. There are millions of paths actually. Let's enjoy that. Let's make this experience of ours as the greatest experience. Not all of us will reach nirvana, but we can get glimpses of it. Let's take a couple of long deep breaths. Inhale, rise, and exhale. Inhale, rise, and exhale. We'll slowly, very slowly come out of this mode. I'll probably take a couple more minutes. My apologies, but we don't want to suddenly come out of this. Just let it go. Everything seems to be okay. Maybe rub your palm. Cup it up on your eyes. Blink first. Put it all together. Warmth. Vasodilation. Coming back to so-called science. Give it to all your body. And as you do it, feel those sensations also. These sensations are the points of all the stuff you have. All your emotions, all your deeds, all your actions. These are the, if one thing, those are the quarks or whatever the foundational particle is. They change every 5 years. That's what it is. You grab it, play with it, and rise from this miserable existence of ours. Namaskar Mudra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashvantu Ma Kaschit Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I would just stop here. If you want to do the back and forth, you can do it. But just pray for the wellness of all. Compassion with no attachment. Let us all be a Buddha, Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna. Let us try to be. Namaskar. Thank you. Have any questions?
Yes, maybe I just put in chat a question that I was feeling yawning at the last stage of the meditation.
Maybe I bored you. Yeah, it happens. We all have. Sometimes at the end of the day, we might be tired. It gives you a sense of calmness and relaxation, and often people go to yawning is that body needs rest, signaling that. So it's normal. It's normal. Nothing. And people go to sleep while meditating. That happens all the time. So I'm not going to judge on that. It happens to everyone. And then eventually, something different happens. Thank you. Anything else?
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Very good session.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Bhaiya.
Thank you. No problem. Welcome.
Yes. Good.
Trying to get out of it. Yeah, so okay, I'll leave the meeting. So thanks a lot.